Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending the Town Council meeting this evening on this very blustery day in Blowing Rock. It's definitely living up to his name, as we can see. If you would, we'll do the roll call. Okay.
Here.
David Harwood.
Here.
Melissa Pickett.
Here.
Doug Matheson.
Here.
Pete Greeny.
Here.
All right, everyone is in attendance. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes from December 10th and regular closed session meetings?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, any changes? Okay. How do we vote, Kat?
Aye.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Okay, great, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm going to do that right now. Thank you. And then after that, I'll do the moment of silence.
Gotcha.
You just got me flustered when you were gone for a little bit. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm just checking to see if you were here, David. You know that, don't you?
It's always David's fault.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 was a tough year for everybody. And so I would like to have a moment of silence for those in the high country that lost so much, for those in California that have lost so much, and the unfortunate situation that occurred in New Orleans. So we're good. Let's have a quick moment of silence. All righty. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. On the regular agenda, Council, there is a change that needs to be made. It was brought to my attention by our council, general counsel, and this is under the Tyler Signs annexation request. It should have been General Statute 1632881, not 1631881. So we need to change that to a 288. And that being said, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as stated?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Kat?
Aye.
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug? Aye. Pete?
Aye.
Okay, so regular agenda is approved. Let's see, consent agenda, tax releases, 2024 03, 2024 04, 2024 05, tax releases undercollectible, 10 years and older. Of course, those cannot be collected after 10 years. Tax refunds, 2024 and 2024-03, budget amendment, 2025-01, amendment to ordinance 2024 tropical storm Helene Grant Project Ordinance. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, there's normally no discussion on consent. Kat?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug? Aye. Pete? Okay,
Aye.
consent agenda is approved. Now, I am going to throw something else on the agenda, guys, that I'm sure y'all will approve of without exception. I would like to say welcome to Mrs. Miller. Mrs. Miller is our new chamber director. She has taken on the responsibilities from Mr. Charles Harden. Welcome to Blowing Rock.
Welcome.
And
Happy to be here.
And if we can do anything for you, please give us a call. We all try to work as a big family, so that means we're just like brothers and sisters, and we bicker all the time. So, welcome to Blowing Rock.
Basically, it's just another name for a town where I'm from. Same thing. I'm really honored to be here, and I'm looking forward to representing the business community here in Blowing Rock and the town. I apologize for being a few minutes tardy. I'm getting used to driving in the mountains and the snow coming from the sand. So my door is always open, and I will share my cell phone number out with everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. We have another guest here this evening. Now keep in mind, I did attend Blowing Rock Elementary. So the new GM from the country club, Mr. Bevinzi, is that correct?
That's correct.
Welcome. He is the new general manager at the Blowing Rock Country Club. So,
Well, thank you. Happy to be here. Look forward to seeing you all around the community. Just here to get some information, get some knowledge, and you'll see me around plenty, but look forward to seeing you all at the club.
all right. Now, public comments. Now, would anyone in the audience like to have 3 minutes to speak of anything, of course, positive in the town? Okay, then. We have a special presentation. I believe this is Chief Nathan Kirk. Nathan Kirk, are you here?
He's coming. I'm gathering my horn.
Oh.
Thank you, everyone. So before I introduce my new gentleman here that's working for the department, I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Darren Church's service to the town. He worked here for 11 years and decided to retire. So lots of long years there, and we wish him the best of luck. So, and now moving on to the introduction of our new police officers. Come on up, gentlemen. Closest to me is going to be Jeffrey Walton, and beside him is Nathan Mitchell. I have a bio here for each of them. Nathan comes to us, Watauga County. He's originally from Moore County. After completing his degree at St. Hills Community College in 2022, he comes to Blowing Rock PD after working in various fitness and health fields. Nathan has spent time working with children's sports, fitness programs, as well as personal training and diet coaching. Nathan was drawn to law enforcement because he has always felt an obligation to serve others, feels that through this path, he will have the opportunity to positively impact those around him in his community. In his spare time, he likes the company of his family, physical activities such as trail jogging, and his dog and bass fishing. And Jeffrey, he goes by Dylan. So I'm going to address him as Dylan. Dylan came to us from Watauga County after graduating from Western Carolina University in 2014. We'll try not to hold that against him. He comes to Blowing Rock PD after a career in adventure, education, and leadership industry where he was able to work with clients across the United States from a variety of backgrounds ranging from summer camps to military units. Dylan was drawn to law enforcement because he feels it offers a unique opportunity to grow as part of the local community and give back to the area he calls home. When not at work, he enjoys spending time in the outdoors, mountain biking, skiing, rock climbing. He also enjoys spending time at home with his family and can often be found enjoying a good book or playing a guitar. So I would, yeah. And it's rare that the instructors seek me out and call me to give me a compliment on these guys. And they all personally got multiple compliments while they were in training. So I'm very proud of them. I'm happy to welcome them on board. So thank you guys.
Gentlemen, welcome. Now, you're from Moore County?
Yes, sir.
Don't get much snow down there, do you? Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we have on here the Tyler Symes annexation, Planning Director Kevin Rothrock. Kevin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. If you recall, last month, I brought some other documents before you to start this process. Mr. Symes submitted a petition of voluntary annexation for council's consideration at the December meeting. Council approved both those resolutions to move forward with the annexation. Tonight, the public hearing is the second final step of that voluntary annexation process. There's an attached ordinance for you, 2025-01, first one of the year, which includes a deed description of the property and specifics about utility connections and responsibilities. The property is just outside town limits in the ETJ. just outside of Hillwood subdivision off of Wildwood Place. It's zone R10S. This shows it here. It's actually two properties and it will be combined into one. And the water line is shown in blue and the pressurized sewer line. So it's right there at his property. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with that. And if approved, the annexation would be effective June 30th of this year, 2025. Boundary map will be recorded with the Register of Deeds, Secretary of State, and also the Watauga County Board of Elections. If approved, Mr. Sine would be allowed to make those utility connections as soon as zoning and building permit applications are submitted, any water and sewer availability fees are paid. He would not need to wait on the effective date. He could go ahead and move forward if you approve the ordinance tonight. Attachments in this packet from this month, certificate of sufficiency from the town clerk, the ordinance, and then the aerial map that you see behind me here. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. And pretty straightforward process.
Now, this is open for public comments. Council? Council?
Make a motion to open it to the public.
I'm sorry.
Make a motion to open it to the public.
Okay. Would anybody in the audience like to come up and say a few words on this ordinance zoning change? No? Okay. All right. Council,
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving forward, how do you feel? A motion?
Motion that we accept the annexation.
Okay.
A second.
Any continued discussion from council?
When was the last time Blowing Rock grew its corporate limits?
The adjacent or the proper, a couple years ago, we had some up on Heather Ridge. We've had some satellite annexations,
Yeah.
pretty successively out 321. In most of those for utility connections, but not one just right on-
Adjacent to.
Yeah, so it's been a little while.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second. Any additional discussion? No. Kat?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug? Aye. And Pete?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, this is under regular agenda, council. 2024 audit presentation. Thomas Price, Scott, Adams and Company. That's your whole name, or oh, you're Hannah.
Yes.
Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you
Thanks for
very
coming
much.
up in this cold weather.
Thanks for having me. My name's Hannah Leskovec. I'm here to present the financial statements. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So here's a little agenda for today. So we're going to start with the AUC 260 letter, that's formerly known as the SAS 114 letter. Then we're going to go over some of the audit results. Then we're going to go over some required communications related to FPICS. And then we'll leave it open to questions and comments from you guys. So moving to page 1, which is the AUC 260 letter. The report date was December 23rd, 2024. The audit opinion is unmodified. It's the highest level of assurance with no material misstatements. There is a new GASB pronouncement, GASB 100, and that's going to change the way that we present our prior period adjustments. There were no significant estimates or assumptions. They were neutral, consistent, and clear. There were no difficulties with management. Tasha was a delight to work with, and her team, of course. The report date, again, was December 23rd, 2024. And I want to draw your attention at this time to a couple of subsequent events. Those can be found on page 59 of the financial statements. Okay, so as we discussed, after year end, after fiscal year end, Hurricane Helene hit Western North Carolina. There was some minor flooding and some landslides. The total estimated cost of the repairs are around $1 million. The town feels confident that all repairs will be fully reimbursed by FEMA. The town is not expecting any cash flow issues related to that. The town received cash for the Main Street water and sewer line replacements in July 2024 in the amount of about $2.7 million. That would be an account payable. So when that money was received, it was received as cash. And so that's going to affect a couple of our cash balances at year end. Okay, so moving back to the AUC 260 order right here. Gonna go to page 2. There were no outside consultants used during this audit, and if you go to the other findings or issues section, prior period adjustments were recorded to correct the beginning balances. If you will, turn to page 58 of the financial statements, if you have them. This is a bit of a change with how it was presented, and that's where GASB 100, the new pronouncement's coming in. So it's going to break out these prior period adjustments a little bit differently, and it's going to make it a little more clear. The largest prior period adjustment was a reduction to the general fund balance of $207,000, and that was to reduce a receivable related to the fire department. And there was also an increase in fund balance in the water and sewer fund related to a payable that is no longer payable. And then it goes into the FPICs a little bit. FPICs are financial performance indicators of concern, and we'll be going over those now. The LGC has accepted the financial statements today that were sent out at the report date, and I believe you guys were very fast and we got a response on those. But there is a 60-day requirement. The town needs to review capital project funds in construction in progress to remove closed projects. This is going to be a project for this upcoming year. The town, and then this one's just a bit of a reminder, the town needs to spend any remaining ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funds by December 31st, 2026. The town has an operating net loss related to water and sewer of $220,000. This will show up again in our revenues versus expenditures for the water and sewer fund. And the town has an unrestricted cash and total expenses in the water and sewer fund of 0%. This is related to that $2.7 million receivable. And that's pretty much the highlights of this page. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. So now we're going to go over some financial information. This information is not the financial statements, but you do have the financial statements there for you. And we're just going to go over some key metrics here. So total fund balance in the general fund is $8.8 million. That is an increase of over $600,000. Unavailable fund balance is a decrease of around $2.1 million, and that's $2.3 million in 2024. Restricted and assigned fund balance is $2.4 million. That is a decrease of about $2.1 million. General fund expenditures is $13.6 million, an increase of around $600,000. Fund balance available as a percent of general fund expenditures, that's 47.79%, and that is a pretty good increase. You guys had an increase of 19% year over year. Unassigned fund balance, $6.4 million. That's an increase of $2.8 million. Revenues under and over expenditures for the various funds. General fund was $600,000. That was an increase of $468,000. Capital project fund, it has a negative amount of $1.3 million. And that was a decrease year over year. I will note that the capital project fund is, when you're looking at revenues and expenditures, we're gonna be looking at those a little bit differently, because it's just expenditures in an account like that, and when you capitalize something, you're taking an asset and putting that on your balance sheet. The water and sewer fund had negative $104,000. That was also a decrease, $307,000. And other governmental, $13,000. Cash versus accumulated depreciation in the water fund. This is something we note because there's a 50% threshold. So you typically want the accumulated depreciation to be less than 50% of the total fixed assets in that account. It's looking good this year. Total fixed assets, 31 million, and accumulated depreciation, 12.5 million. And we have cash of $219,000. That cash is all restricted. Cash and investments, cash in the general fund, 7.3 million. That's an increase of 2.4 million. Cash in the capital projects fund, 1.2 million. That's a decrease of 3.3 million. Cash in the water and sewer fund, 219,000. Again, all restricted. And other governmental, $298,000. Fund balance in the general fund, 8.8 million. Capital projects fund, 972,000. Net position in the water and sewer fund, 16 million. Fund balance, other governmental, 46,000. The property tax, this is a lagging figure. It was 39 cents per $100. Collection percentages were good this year, 99.38% and 99.36% when you exclude motor vehicles. Total property valuation, $1.8 billion. That's an increase of $181,000. So there's more revenue coming from that area. Total net levy amount, $6.57 million, an increase of $435,000. The debt has decreased this year. Governmental activities, $10.3 million, a decrease of $1 million. Business type activities, which is your water and sewer activity, $4.3 million, a decrease of $319,000. In terms of revenues and expenditures, it's broken out here. We had total of $14.3 million in revenues, an increase of $845,000 year over year. And the ad valorem taxes had that increase year over year. That was the largest contributor. The general fund expenditures totaled $13.7 million, and they increased $376,000. And public safety contributed, they had an increase of $224,000. That was one of the largest contributions. I'm sorry, I can't really show the whole screen, it looks like.
Hang on, I can read it to you. Yep, there you go. There you go.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. So sometimes the charts help explain a little bit better. So I'll be sharing the charts as well. Starting with the fund balance, we can see that increase in fund balance and decrease in total restrictions. And then fund balance available, we can see that went up year over year as well. So you go to the next page. Unassigned fund balance is a percent of general fund expenditures that increased year over year. And revenue over expenditures before transfers and contributions. You can see the general fund increased and sort of what I described earlier related to the capital project funds, that those that we had those negative expenditures, and the water and sewer fund, which was negative. The total fixed assets, cash and accumulated depreciation. If you go to the next page, again, that's looking at how much cash you have in the water and sewer fund. Again, with that $2.7 million coming in July. And again, with that you're trying to have less than 50% depreciation because you want your water and sewer assets to be in good working condition. Cash balances, you can see the largest portion is the general fund, and fund balance, you can see the largest portion is the water and sewer fund. Going over tax rates, property tax rates, again, this is lagging by 1 year, and we have that property tax rate of 39 cents per $100, and that is a little less than what we have in the group weighted average. The group weighted average is looking at towns with similar revenues. Collection percentages are, you guys are looking pretty strong with that as well. So it's good to see that people are paying their taxes and you're getting those in. Okay. So this is the revenue and expenditures. You can see that the ad valorem taxes is your largest revenue source, and the largest expenditure source is general government down there, followed closely by public safety, and you had that increase in public safety year over year. Okay, we took out that last page. So if you should have one more page that goes into required communications. Again, we discussed that you guys have 60 days to respond to those FPICs. And then the other required communications we discussed in our AUC 260 letter. So that water and sewer operating net loss of $220,000, water and sewer unrestricted cash 0%. You typically want 2 months there, but of course we have that large receivable, and we did have that finding related to that those prior period adjustments. The town believes that they're working through those and should be able to reduce instances of that in the future or eliminate.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay, we're showing a net loss on the water and sewer operating fund. Is that due to the timing of the revenue of monies coming to the town?
No, you do have, your expenditures are higher than your revenues, and typically you would want your revenues to cover that expenditures.
Okay.
Those
I
expenditures.
know we've had a lot of work going on with water and sewer. I wonder if that was attributed to.
So we had more expenditures this year because of some of the projects going on. We also had less water usage this year because of the meters that were put in. So one of the things we'll discuss at the retreat
Okay.
is a potential slight increase there going into next year because of it.
Okay. All right. Well, no, yes, we have had a lot of water sewer work going on. That's for sure. Okay. Thank you. And you also said our fund balance is up to 47%, and that's calculated on the total revenue. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're looking at that 40% figure, which is the unassigned percentage. Yeah, so we did have some adjustments that were made to that to remove some restrictions. So the unrestricted balance decreased due to a decrease in some escrow restrictions. We believe there might be a couple more of those coming as well. So more unrestricted.
Going into this year, did anything throw a red flag or a weakness up to you?
No, you guys were great to work with. You seem to have a really good year. You seem to be improving, and next year we'll probably work a little bit on balance sheet accounts, but that'll be something that Tasha's already working on. So once we review it, it should be in good shape.
Would our finance director or our town manager, any additional input on this audit?
I would start by thanking Tasha, number one. This past year was a transitional year for the finance department. Tasha came in the fall and replaced Nicole Norman, who was here for quite some time. And so Nicole moving on and Tasha coming in was a big transition for the finance department. Tasha took it like a champ and has worked tirelessly for the last year plus and making sure that not only the audit and the budget, was completed on time, but it was materially correct. And so I would add that the prior period adjustments that were made were to make sure the receivables and the balance sheet accounts that Hannah's mentioning were correct. So a lot of new eyes looking at it this year. At the end of the day, I would summarize the year in saying that we added to general fund balance, we added to general fund cash. Our available fund balance went from 28.9% to 48%. So back to where we've been in the past, which is closer to that 50% mark. The water sewer fund, because of a lot of activity and the fact that our timing was different from the state than what we had hoped. We submitted our request from the state in March for that 2.7 million. We received it in July. So unfortunately, if we had received it on June 30th, that 200,000 in restricted would be 2.7 million in unrestricted cash sitting there. That's not anything that we can control. We can't require the state to send us money any faster than what they send to us. We're grateful for the state in supplying us $4.8 million for the water and sewer project on Main Street. And I didn't mention that's money from the Main Street project. And as the mayor mentioned, a lot of activity in the water sewer fund with new meters being installed, et cetera. So we'll start seeing some stability within that fund and discuss it more at the retreat. Ms. Brown will have a comprehensive update like we always have at the retreat, not only of this year and fund balance and where we are with cash flow, but also looking towards next year and what our projections are. Sent to you today, sales tax numbers for November, those were increased. So year-to-date sales tax is above where we have been in the past. So we've got, I think, some good things to share with you at the retreat as well. That'd be my synopsis. Tasha, do you got anything to add to that?
I agree with everything. I appreciate Hannah and their firm and working with us.
Do I have a motion to approve? Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry. Yes.
As with any leadership change, we had leadership change in our department. Were there, and I did not see this in the report, were there any concerns regarding internal controls? As new leadership came in, things might be handled differently than they were before.
So the purpose of an audit is to ensure that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. It is not a review of internal controls. So
Okay.
that is typically done separately. Have I seen anything? No, but it's out of our scope
Thank
typically.
you. Okay.
Council?
If I would
Yes, sir.
add, so not on the financial side, I would just add that between the Main Street project, the 4.8 million, between the other projects and the grants that we've received, the internal control side, the policies and procedures that have been put into place there are being looked at and being scrutinized. We had the state here this past week, and that was exactly what they were here for, is look through internal controls. And that's not related to the audit, but the timing is relevant because they were just here this past week. And going through the typical things, internal controls, procurement policies, financial policies, that type of thing. That was what they performed last week. Again, related to the 4.8 million that we received from the state on ARPA money. So I would add that. And there was no findings there. They'll send something to us soon enough. But, yeah, just to help answer that question.
Pete?
Kudos Shane and Tasha for you guys working with the auditing firm, putting this together. Comment in the report, there were no disagreements. That's how things should work, and
Yes.
you guys did a great job. And then it's reflected in the long-term bond, which in borrowing in the future is going to be a big deal. So thanks again to both of you.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? Kat?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug? Aye. Pete?
Aye.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your help.
Thank you, Ethel.
Righty. Meridian Barriers. Is the chief still here? Beijing Nathan Kirk.
So with the light of everything that's going on nationally, I'm sure everybody knows what happened with this car attack that happened recently down in New Orleans. It's not a new thing. This has been going on since 1973 was when the first attack happened, vehicle borne like that. Just in the past, since 2006, there's been 168 total killed or injured just in the United States. There's been multiple 45 attacks across the world since 1973, but just within our own domestic territory, 168. So what I'd like to talk to you guys about before, and I'm sure you've seen this before with, if you've been to any of our big events here in town with the Christmas parade, July 4th, Monster March, things like that, is these Meridian barriers. So Meridian is the company that makes these. These are called Archer 1200 barriers. And what we're looking at doing is getting a initial package. And the initial package includes, you get 8 barriers right here. You get a hydraulic trailer. So 2 field tow bars. You get the deck trailer, which is a huge, huge help. These things are about 700 pounds a piece. And then something that we're getting also is called an Archer Rapid Gate Kit, which is cool. And this is it right here. This is a picture of it, and it incorporates with your Meridian barriers, and it hooks up, comes with a full access, things like this. It's rated, they rate these they test them with a flatbed pickup that's about 15,000 pounds at different speeds, 15, 30, and 50 miles an hour, and they can't stop that. And this gate is adjustable for the needs that we have. It goes from 10, 12 to 14 feet in length. And primarily what we would use this for, just for example, the Monster March this past year, we had these barriers set up at the end of Park Avenue to let the kids gather there before we step off on the main street. So with this gate, we can allow this to have access for a fire truck, a medic unit, or any type of police unit coming through or something like that. The applications and use for this is not just a law enforcement perspective, it's just keeping everybody safe. Going with Public Works as well. So if they have a water main break or something like that where we have to deploy these, it can be easily done. We can get everything set up within about 15 minutes of need. So mostly, but like what you see here, what it would be used for, town parades, the Halloween festival, any type of thing where we have a lot of pedestrians out in the roadway. This was a prime example after the attack in New Orleans. This was at the Rose Parade at the Rose Bowl right after that. Meridians are used all across the country, and it's a great product. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about it. Just real good stuff. And we first got introduced to these back after the 2021 attack in Wisconsin. Boone PD actually purchased some, and they have a total of 16 that we've used back and forth when it's not conflicting with some of their parades or festivities that are going on. They've been very helpful. We went through some training to get these set up. Just recently we went over with Public Works. It was all hands on deck with the last parade that we had. And to give you an idea of what we're looking at, this is, I'm gonna step out here so I can back a little bit. This was from this last 4th of July parade. I'm thinking total that we had come to that event was probably, 20, 25,000 people. It's wild. We've had people here for lighting up the town, thousands of people pinging off the cell phone towers, 30,000 what we had one time when we looked. But this is what we're looking at. So something that we do differently too, because we're worried about all pedestrians and stuff, is the cones and the chains and things like this. These meridian barriers in this gate would help tremendously with this. I mean, just for prime example right here, you know, this is an entryway that you could get in here from the bank. And there's just tons of people. You can see right here, they line up. Now, we have been utilizing different things, fire trucks. We use public works garbage trucks. We use patrol cars. We do everything we can to help keep everybody safe. Here's another, this was actually from the Monster March this year, of the amount of people that we have right here. And the meridians we had set up were over here on the back side, where Wallingford hits Park Avenue. And then, like I said, for public works, things like that, it can be utilized. There's just a lot of applications, and this would be the color that we would go with. The ones that Boone have are white color. The color that we're looking at is like a DOT orange. And we can put any type of, if we want to put the town seal on there, if we want to do a PD seal or something like that, it can be utilized for that as well. So, and with the entry kit now, we would have that gate that I showed you earlier. So lots of different ways that we could help just keep people safe. So does anybody have any questions or anything like that? I kept it short and sweet. I mean, I know Doug has seen these firsthand. He helps us with the parades and everything like that.
How much are the gates for sale?
The gates themselves, the whole entry, the last quote that I had, that I got, I just spoke with the rep last week. The quote he gave me was $118,000.
The reason I was asking about the gates is, doesn't take but what, 2 of those or 4 of those barriers to set up the gate?
So you can set the gate up with just one barrier. Yeah, one barrier is rated to still stop that vehicle. For the example there, they used 2. Yes,
You
sir.
said it could stop a vehicle at what speed?
It stops all the way up to 50 miles an hour is what they're rated to stop at. And that's a flatbed, 15,000-pound pickup. There's multiple videos. I didn't want to put anything on here because it looks really violent. But it is rated to stop it. It's rated to stop a 50 cal armor piercing round. These barriers are. So they're really, really heavy duty.
What's a garbage truck rated for?
I mean, and see, and that's the thing. Someone actually asked me that when we were out in the lobby talking about these barriers. We utilize all the public works trucks for these parades. These events, we use everything we have here in town. And we still have areas to where we can put these barriers and relieve having an officer there, because you're not going to get by with any type of vehicle.
Okay. Is 8 enough?
I think for our purposes, it is. These events we call everybody in, every officer, every reserve officer. We have public works, we have Parks and Rec coming to these events. So I think 8 is plenty. And this would also allow, I was talking to Interim Chief Duckworth over there at Boone. He's planning on utilizing ours as soon as we get them in for some of their events as well. And it goes back and forth. They've always been very helpful with us for letting us borrow theirs.
In all the pictures I've seen, the applications they're sitting on asphalt.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's the weight or they actually dig into the asphalt, but
They do.
Does it work on concrete like a sidewalk?
They want you to keep it on asphalt particularly, but it needs to be smooth. So there's a couple of challenges around here that we've had to go and address for, like we had them on Maple Street, we had them on Moore Street, Chestnut one time, and you got to get the right angle at it. And I can show you, if you look right here, Dave, there's teeth right here. On the back side, if I can find a picture of it. I got a picture, there we go. So right here underneath these ramps, it's got curved teeth right here. Once you deploy it, you raise these wheels up. So your vehicle's gonna come, this is the side you're gonna have hit. So it's gonna bite right here, and then this top part right here lifts the car up off the ground.
I see.
So if I would add, or may, Boone does have 16, so 8 is a start for us, and Chief and I have talked. I think this is a good start. Part of the timing of this, we're planning on moving forward with this with budget, but ABC Store is having another record year, and they've recently distributed another $100,000 to the town that we had not budgeted for. So the timing of everything, given the fact that These do have a delay in ordering them, so I think it's about a 12-week turnaround.
Yeah.
12-week turnaround would give us time to go ahead and order these and utilize the extra $100,000 in the BC store, which we typically, and they typically ask for us to utilize towards law enforcement of some sorts. And this has been shared with them, and they've verbally okayed it, of course. Not that that's their choice, it's your choice. But that was part of the discussion we had at the last ABC board meeting with the extra funds and how we potentially could utilize them. And moving forward with going ahead, if you approve, and ordering them and have them here in time for the July 4th parade, which would be our next large event that we would have coming up in the summertime.
Have a motion to approve the purchase.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? Okay.
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
All right, now, this requires a budget amendment for the Meridian barriers. Do I have a motion to approve the budget amendment to allow for funding to purchase these?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the budget amendment? Okay.
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Doug? Aye. Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for everything you're doing. Appreciate it. All right. Wow. Moving right along. Official reports and comments. As mayor, I just want to thank Public Works, all the town employees, everyone that was involved with the snow removal. I think everyone did a great job. I know our people were working 12-hour shifts. So my thanks to all the town employees for their assistance and taking care of our winter weather. And so, once again, thank you, Tasha, for a good year this year with the budget. I know you've taught Shane a lot, and that's excellent. So, thank you, Shane.
Always.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I would just reiterate everything you just said. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, Public Works, and all the town employees. Just doing a great job.
I can't improve on those comments, so I will pass.
Listen,
So I'm good.
Doug.
Two little short things. One, state employees' health insurance is looking to rearrange, and it looks like it is going to start being the minimum contribution from employees will probably be somewhere around $20, and the rest of it will be pay-based rate on it. Another thing is we lost another good friend, Mayor Karen Alexander from Salisbury, to cancer, candlelight vigil last night.
Thank you, Doug. Pete?
Just echo what you said, Charlie, about town employees. Also, shout out to Kent and his people for that rescue there at Wheelie's. That is really above and beyond the call. And thanks, Shane, for contacting the property owner, although we haven't seen anything take place yet. But thanks for making the attempt.
Joy.
Not there. Okay, I will stand and address some updates on projects to start with. Main Street, we've talked about for about a year. The water line, sewer line work is completed. What is remaining is a few punch list items regarding some fire hydrants. We have one meter that was needing to be replaced that was performed yesterday. Iron Mountain has completed the water line installation on Maple Street, so they now have the tie-ins to remain, and they look to complete those hopefully this week. Weather is not a deterrent for those folks. They've been working throughout the last 2 weeks, even in the snow and the cold weather, to have the work completed just as quickly as possible. Once the once the Maple Street tie-ins are completed, hopefully this week, if not early next week, they'll move on to 221. And again, that's about a month-long process. Once that's all said and done, we'll hope for warm weather and paving and milling and all the things that'll take place with getting everything put back nice and neatly before the season rolls back around this summer. DOT has provided me with an update, and I'll provide that to you all with the new parking arrangements on Main Street. If you recall, we discussed a few months back. But we will end up unfortunately losing a few parking spaces here and there, given the proximity to some of the entrances to roads and crosswalks, et cetera. So we'll go over that at the retreat as well. So main projects, Main Street project, Maple Street 221. Main Street's essentially done. Need a little bit warmer weather to change out a couple fire hydrants. Once that happens, we'll be completely done outside of the paving that'll take place. Again, the paving's a separate contract, just a reminder to you all, the public. That's through the North Carolina Department of Transportation, not with us. They have let that bid with Maymeet, and that's who's going to perform that work. And it will be performed tonight, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just as soon as the weather breaks in spring. It does have a completion date of May to have that work completed. Memorial Park bids are out. They're due back this upcoming week, Thursday at 2 o'clock. So we'll have a bid opening in this room next Thursday at 2 o'clock. So we're optimistic. We had 5 contractors pull bids or pull designs. And so we're optimistic that we'll have 3. If not, we'll put it back out a second time. We're optimistic again that we'll get 3. And if so, then we'll have the bid results to present at the retreat at the end of the month, along with some discussions on potential funding options there. FEMA update, Wonderland Trail work was started prior to the most recent snows and cold weather. A good portion of that work was completed. I shared some photos with you all of where that stands. About 3 layers of gabion baskets have been put into place at this point. So that work's a little bit trickier. We do have to wait on some better weather there, not snow and not ice, so obviously to operate the equipment in a very tight area, very steep slope. Valley View, a site visit with FEMA is scheduled for next week or the week after. I think it's next week. And McGill is working with us and FEMA and contractors to put together a bid package that will have to come before you all and hopefully contractors, 3 contractors to put bids out for Valley View. So the Wonderland Trail work is started and is in good shape. Hopefully it'll be completed in the next couple of weeks as the contractor has good weather or not, we'll see. Today we had something called Child Care Legislative Day in the High Country. Had a couple of you there. Mr. Matson attended the morning session along with lunch and a tour of our academy. Mr. Hartwood came for lunch and a tour of the academy. We had about 50 folks at the morning session over in Boone. We had several folks, kind of a panel that spoke towards childcare. We had owners of childcare agencies here in the High Country, childcare businesses here in the country. We had folks in North Carolina Department of Commerce, the governor's office, Senator High, some others within the General Assembly, some assistants and staffers. Ted Budd's assistant was here as well. And the morning session was essentially discussing what you all have heard from me and others the last couple of years, is that childcare here and everywhere is an issue. So the first couple hours this morning was the panel discussion. Then we came over for lunch at Blowing Rock. We had lunch, thanks to Park and Rec for putting the lunch on for us and accommodating a little bit lesser of a group. We had 30-some that came over here, and then that group then went over to the Blowing Rock Academy and toured the academy. And that did include some of the same people, Senator Budd's staff, governor's office, Commerce, Senator Heiss attended that as well. So we're very thankful for everyone that assisted in putting forth this effort. Yes, sir.
On that, because I know you won't mention it, there was a lot of kudos to our town manager and Blowing Rock for with the academy, brought up by a lot of different people over there today. So,
we're optimistic. Thank you. We're optimistic that we continue to get a little bit of a headline, that we get others involved as well across the state in doing this. They had a chance to see firsthand today that our academy is doing really well. We do have 3 new babies coming in the next couple months. We have one coming, I think, next week or the week after that'll be attending. So we are growing the academy. So we will be over double digits. We'll be closer to a dozen here in just the next couple of months. So I had a chance for them to come and see the young kiddos that we get a chance to see so often, and had a really good conversation with some folks at the state level about what could be done differently there and maybe what the state's looking at to do moving forward with assisting in child care. So thank you to everyone, Boone Chamber for helping and putting that on, our folks here again, Park and Rec and staff for their continued efforts to just make everyone feel just as hospitable as possible as they come here and provide excellent service. Planning board meeting is this Thursday at 5:30. That is the Green Park Inn. That'll be in this room. So we do expect to have a good crowd. Our retreat is at the end of the month, 29th, 30th, and 31st at the Blowing Rock Conference Center. So it's not at the American Legion, it's up at the Conference Center. We will send out this week publicly somewhat of an agenda, at least topics, and we're kind of fine tuning those times. So we'll have that just as soon as we can later this week for the public. So we have a long, long list of topics to discuss, 3 full days of activity, and just appreciate everyone's attendance and participation in that. Kudos again to Public Works for working around the clock for several days with snow removal and frozen roads and things of that nature, and landscaping for stepping up and getting the park and steps and things cleaned. It's a team effort like it always is, and I'm very appreciative of their willingness to jump in and do whatever's needed. That concludes my updates for the night, and be happy to answer any questions you have on anything related to the town.
Thanks, Shane. If I may say, ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to get a Blowing Rock calendar, there's a couple of eras in that calendar. The February, keep in mind, our council meetings are always on the second Tuesday of every month. February, it shows it as being on Monday. So if you do attend Monday, we will not open the meeting till Tuesday at 6. Okay, keep that in mind. Also, it's incorrect, I think is May incorrect as well? So that was an error made after I think it was proved. I think TDA does the calendars, and so it was an error made, I think, by the printer, I'm told, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. Keep in mind, town council meetings are the second Tuesday of every month, unless there's something, a special meeting or whatever. So please disregard your February date for your council meeting, okay? Thank you. Now, that being said, we will go into closed session under
North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, A5. Discussion of potential property acquisition.
Thank you for attending this evening. Thank you for those that presented all your hard work.